Fit, please follow us on Twitter on at Smart24TV and then Facebook Smart24TV official. We'll be back from the break. It is time to continue with Smart Means Business, your morning kickstarter. And definitely you would want a morning like this one, and you would want it to start from Smart24 TV, where we drive your business.
Very. And for now, you would definitely want to know what weather will be there as the day goes on and how favorable it will be for your business. Check out the weather forecast of the day.
Funny, one of the most things that I love about weather forecast is the humidity, the temperatures and all that.
Wind speed.
So, the wind speeds and the wind strength, so that you know where or which region is going to have a lot of wind. Most probably for the people who are actually doing, I believe sometimes weather affects greatly people who do outdoor businesses. It depends on more so when it's raining. And then how it affects those inside. If it's over raining, then the clients can still fail to come through or come to your building, or maybe they will just come.
And the ones who actually come to you, how do you treat them? They can end up being your clients.
Exactly.
Because it depends on how now you market them, exactly. You market your product.
True. And so clearly, I believe weather is also very important to shape your business day. And more so on a Tuesday like this one, May, the month of April had a lot of rainfalls.
Yes, it's a rainy season, April, and this will, even May, don't think it has given you, a relief of around 2 days and you feel you're smiling, you're having a little bit of sunshine. Yes, maybe probably it's still ongoing, the season, the rainy season still, goes on May until the end of this particular month, but we don't know what is foretelling there. But what we do know is the forecast that comes daily from here, and make sure you be a part of it. That is only when you will know either whether it's going to be raining, whether it's not going to be raining, or drizzling at the end of the day, shining to your store. Now we cross to what is happening online in regards to online business stories, and this is courtesy of Daily Monitor, highlighting most cities that are being affected by hiking or increasing commodity prices. Fort Portal and Gulu are among the top, recording the highest increase in commodity prices. Maybe what you need to know is that Prices of commodities and services have been increasing since November, and Gulu, Fort Portal are being the hardest hit, while Mbarara and Jinja have experienced modest in regards to the increase of these particular prices. And Gulu City experienced the highest increase in commodity and service price during April, according to the Uganda Bureau of Statistics report. Gulu City data indicating that was followed by Fort Portal, Mbale and Arua, while Mbarara and Jinja recorded the lowest increase around commodity prices. And price movements in Kampala among high, middle, low income segmentations and Masaka were modest, according to UBOS report. And also during the April month, UBOS highlighted the data indicating commodity and service prices in Gulu increased by an average of around 6.9% from 5.5% due to a surge in housing, water, electricity, gas and other fuel prices, which rose up to around 12.9% up to 7.7%. The increase also was attributed in Gulu, however, to on a surge of recreation of sport culture prices rising at an 11.4% and up to a 3.6%. And when we compare to what is happening in Fort Portal conclusively here, Fort Portal prices and service commodities rose by 5.8%, and also cultural prices rising the same there from 3.7% in March due to an increase in food and non-alcoholic beverages rising by around 6.3% to increase around a 1.3%, as well as surging in furniture, household equipment and routine householding, which rose to a 2.11% Joram. So we're comparing at how cities are increasing prices. And Kampala, you might ask yourself, Kampala is not being talked about. According to UBOS, Kampala is highlighted that it has both segments. It has got an increase, it has got the modest, and it has got the lowest at some point. And this depends on the commodities that are hiking. So you might find furniture has remained moderately, and then you might find soap, fuel are increasing in Kampala. So it has been put in segments. But Mbarara and Jinja are the lowest recording high prices in the country.
Okay, and still with the Daily Monitor, MTN Mobile Money has deposits have grown to 959.9 billion Ugandan shillings, according to details that are coming in to the MTN financial results, as mobile money income expense stood at 38.3 billion shillings. And MTN held 959.9 billion shillings in mobile money deposits for the period ended December 2021, according to details that were published in the Telkom's financial results. This was as an increase of more than 304.6 billion shillings from 655.3 billion shillings that the Telkom held in the same period in 2020. It is the first time MTN has published details of its mobile money business, whose regulation was last year moved to the Bank of Uganda. And under the National Payment Systems Act, the law requires that mobile money, which largely is a financial function, is separated from telecommunication services. And therefore, under the law, MTN, just like other telecoms that operate mobile money businesses, are required to publish details of their financial position. During the period, MTN noted that the mobile money business registered a profit of 89.8 billion shillings, which signals the growing strength of mobile money on the entire business. The 89.8 billion shillings, according to the financial results, contributed to a 26.3% share of MTN's gross profits, which during the period stood at 340.4 billion shillings. The financial results take into account direct network operating costs, other operating expenses, employee benefits, as well as selling, distribution and marketing expense, increase in impairment of trade receivables, which also include depreciation and impairment of property, plant and equipment, and right of use of assets and amortization of intangible assets. Now, during the period, MTN said assets attributed to the mobile money business stood at 1.06 trillion shillings, which was 32.3% contribution to the Telkom's 3.29 billion shillings total assets. Mobile money is currently one of MTN's largest revenue earners and is projected to grow further as the company continues to engage in different financial innovations provided for under the National Payments Systems Act. And during the period, MTN indicated cash generated from operations stood at 167.3 billion shillings, while 69.2 billion shillings was generated from operating activities. Then payments for property and equipment stood at 517 billion shillings, while purchase of intangible assets stood at 1.2 trillion shillings. Then when we talk of the income tax, according to the details in the MTN financial results, mobile money income tax expense stood at 38.3 billion shillings, while net cash invested at 12.58 billion shillings. And during the period ended December 2021, the provisioned 665 billion shillings to cater for unplanned eventualities, while exchange rate losses stood at 80 billion shillings. Well, that is details coming in from MTN Mobile Money. Big growth.
Okay, and lastly in SMB online reports, we review what midterm access has got to do, and this is courtesy of The Independent, highlighting how NSSF midterm requests have actually declined after a month. Up to around 400 billion shillings have been paid out to over 18,000 clients under the National Social Security Fund NSSF midterm access, and according to the information obtained from URN, that is the fund made the first disbursement around March 17th 2022 after receiving 41,174 applications. Of those, only around 14,690 applicants were eligible, in line with the amendment of around NSSF Act. And Richard Byarugaba, the NSSF Managing Director, was highlighting a very significant reduction in the number of applications the fund received after every day, and the situation is seemingly normalizing and becoming manageable as we speak. The fund budgeted for payment for around shillings 50 billion per week, and that was surpassed their budget by a shilling 28.8 billion in the very first week, leading to the payment shilling of around 400 billion shillings in the first 1.5 months. And statistics from NSSF show that from April 26, that is the month ended 2022, the fund had already received 11,958 claims manually and 7,678 online. According to Byarugaba, conclusively here, the midterm payments are going to reduce funds interest rate paid by members this particular year. Why? Because of the short-term investment they took into preparation for the midterm access payment. So that's why there is a reduction right now, no pressure. A number of people at least have acquired during their midterm access. This is courtesy of Independent from NSSF, highlighting how so far the country stands towards achieving the midterm access, to giving it to the clients.
All right. Now, let's head to the business report as we conclude with the particulars here, and we talk business startups, as details coming in from there reveal that 36% of small businesses are always at risk of failing out after starting up. Most of them don't actually meet their first
birthday.
Exactly. And the effect of COVID-19 and the subsequent lockdown as a measure to curb the spread of the pandemic opened people's eyes on the benefit of trading online. Well, many startups are sprouting, but there is a threat of them to fail, resulting from cash flow and operation challenges. Let's have the details.
At least 2,754 micro, small and medium enterprises, surveyed 1,000 of these, are anticipating the threat of business failure, operation challenges.
So the other challenges, apart from marketing, include the cost of production. So as you see this unit, we're selling it currently at 10,000. But due to the current inflation, you realize that things have escalated. Like the packaging cost has gone high, the branding cost has gone high. So all this cost comes to has to come to the final consumer. And if the final consumer is not willing to pay for the cost, then that means business will go down. The other challenge that I can talk about is the scarcity of the raw materials. So sometimes, like we've been under dry season, the raw materials get really scarce, like the avocado itself. You find that with 1,000 you can just get one avocado oil, and yet for you to make this you need something like maybe 8,000 shillings. So so depending on the weather, this product is seasonal. The raw material is seasonal. So when the season is bad, you get less raw materials to make this product.
Speaking to Morgan Kamoga, the proprietor of Gona Limited, he discloses some of the challenges they encounter.
The other challenge is the certification. So the cost of certification is really high. You spend like 2.5 M to certify this product, to get the National Bureau of Standards logo on here. And for a startup, that's really a lot of money because like I mentioned earlier, so for you to get 2.5 for starters, for so many small businesses, it's not something easy. Because remember, I've told you that you need to find the money to invest into the machinery, to invest into the raw materials. Now again, you need to find the money to pay for the logo. And that cost, sometimes even the process is really not very straight. Like you go there and then there is these cadets that want to con you of your money, you know, so you end up spending a lot, and then sometime maybe you do kidogo to get a process like moving a bit faster. So it's really challenging.
These products need to be certified with responsible authorities, which Morgan says it's very costly.
The bookkeeping. For any business to run, for any business to work, it must have books of account, because it's the books of accounts that tell you that tell you whether you're making losses or making profits, whether business is progressing or it is going down. But many of us people that do startups, we really don't have that knowledge. You find that someone has a thought of an idea, it is a good viable venture, but you don't have the knowledge. All you know is how to make that product you're trying to make. But you don't know the first thing about bookkeeping, you don't know what a loss is, you don't know how to do like a stock taking, you don't know, basically you have no idea on all these things. All you know is how to make a product. So if you don't have that knowledge, it really becomes hard for you to do your books of account.
Most startups have less knowledge about bookkeeping, which needs sensitization.
Of that day, since this is a company, you need to file returns to URA. So if you don't have proper books, if you don't have proper records, it is really challenging, because for you to file, even if you not made profit, like for instance, like during COVID, there were lost sales. So even if you've done no profit, URA demands that you file at end of the financial year. And imagine you've made no profit and you don't have that expertise on how to organize your books to go and file. So you end up getting someone else who has knowledge in that to help you to do the bookkeeping.
He further calls upon the government measures as a way of curbing challenges facing these startups.
Subsidizing those costs, especially for the startups, because many businesses, many startups like us, they fail at that point. And around certification, some of the challenges we find that you get this product, you do it, you take it to the supermarket or maybe to your outlets. These guys will come and grab the product and basically come and grab the product and they take it. For reason being, maybe there is no logo or maybe they think it is low quality. Yet you're trying to make a sale, you save some money to work on the certification. So if there can be a way of subsidizing these costs for the startups, it would really be good.
Naomi Mtumba, Smart 24, Business Today.
And that is it for the business startups, 36%. So that
Small
means
business failing at a very great risk.
So that means the other is 64.
that
represents the percentage of
see
those
at,
that
at
succeed.
least that see a success, but it goes back to society norms at some point, creating businesses and also sustaining it. Sometimes people say it's not easy, and that narrative has got to change if we want to see businesses celebrating what we call birthdays 2 years down the road and they're still existing. Because when you go to inquire from friends, from society, not experts in business, and then you're telling them business, even go to your friends, just ask them business a term later. Everyone is always negative about their business. Omuntu agenda kugamba si byangu.
And you see clearly,
Sometimes I feel like giving up. I mean, those are some statements that I've always gotten from the questions I've asked people. Bigenda bitya is the business. Tewali sente.
one thing I do believe is that businesses are hard. No business is, there is no business that comes easy. But there
And
is
you're saying the same thing.
no, why? But let me get into
You
this.
know, my vision is very opposite away from what you are telling me.
Personally believe that why people will come out and tell you businesses are really hard and all that. Sometimes people's expenses overweigh what they earn. You see, with the self-employed Ugandan or a self-employed citizen, they always have a lot to prove. Because you remember, they will come out and tell you, you are employed, me, I'm self-employed. Now, the picture of being self-employed always pushes you to have a lot of expenses at the end of the day, because you believe you're your own boss. You have no accountability to give. You have no, that is why in most cases we tell people to keep their financial score here on SMB. But because if you keep your financial score, you get to know of how your business is moving.
You get to know the cash flows and the ledgers, how they are corresponding.
moving. And then you can as well, that is why you will talk to most of the business people. They will tell you, my business started making profits after 10 years. And then you ask yourself, how has this person been doing? Then they will tell you, every business have actually been paying my employees and making sure I pay the revenue and making sure that the other money keeps the business.
If you
at
get
work.
an honest person will tell you how they have made money. Leave alone the motivational speakers that
Has a
come
rich
on
man ever been
podiums
honest?
and then yes, when you have an approach, maybe it depends on the approach you want them to, tell you about, or the angle from which you are asking. I don't think a rich man can lie to their son that they are not making money or they are not really getting profits at the end of the week or at the end of the month. Sometimes they tell you this because they don't want you to actually see that they've got a lot of money, because the society has also proven that we are always on the begging side. When Joram, you show me that you've got the money, when you show me you're actually making money, I'm not going to leave by your side. I'm going to stick with you, and then every time smile around you because I'm expecting something from you, which is why sometimes they hate around what they really want to tell you. But what I want to change here conclusively here on this particular story on business not making money because of the risks of failure is that when you're always telling yourself that this is hard, I cannot do it anymore, I feel like I went into something that I really don't need at this particular moment, it is because of what you're taking, the pressure you're taking, number one, from friends around you, and the pressure comes on giving also credit. You've got a salon, people will come, you trim their hair, you design their heads, and then some friend will walk away without paying you. That's also public pressure, because you don't want to beg at the end of the day. So sometimes when we circle around, go visit experts and then seek information on how to run your startup, and also knowing really what you want with that startup that you are establishing, you're going to make a very far better ends meet. And you will never say that, okay, we made it at some point. You will always be positive, because it's positivity that drives business every day. Otherwise, you and I, if we would always be negative, how would we end up from 7 to 10? So it's always got to be positive. When you're positive, everything is possible. That is what I can say with the failures of 36% business startups failing each year.
And I'll conclude this by saying, on a honest note, a rich man will never be honest. They will always hide something. Well, let's take a break. We do return with the topic of discussion.